The Unstoppables, with the task of demolishing every kingdom in their way. Within 1 year of their huge upbringing, 1960 took themselves to the top of the rock world, winning 5 straight KVKs in that time, along with 2 Osiris League championships. This kingdom seems unstoppable, not to mention having the first alliance to hit 1 billion kill points. 1960 is a beacon of light, a glimpse of a possible ideal style kingdom that can take over all competitive kingdoms in the near future. The rise of individual strength and power rather than sheer numbers. This is the rise of 1960. To get to know the story of how 1960 grew, we need to look into one of the most known and ferocious whales of Rise of Kingdoms history, Governor. Governor played in Kingdom 2 and became the known leader and fighter for UCS. Governor started a new jumper in 1960, and soon it became his project kingdom. The kingdom became very successful very fast, as after Season 1, they would become a very competitive fighting kingdom, as they slowly gained feats in KVK as an A, B seed kingdom. In Season 2, they would fight a 3v5 against 2 strong Korean kingdoms, and eventually won that KVK. This put 1960 up to become an even stronger kingdom than they were before, as they began to bring in players that would help them become known as the unstoppable kingdom they are known now. 1960's main goal was to make the kingdom strong enough to compete against higher Imperium kingdoms in both KVK and Osiris League. Their strategy to combat the massive sheer numbers of players in kingdoms like 307, 254, and 1556 was completely different and almost solely unique. It was to bring in a maximum of 50 players focusing on quality and not quantity. They also can focus on players that can invest into Season of Conquest tech with proper marches and equipment so they can carry themselves in a fight without having to rely on bigger whales to assist them. This would grow the kingdom to a very powerful alliance full of strong and reliable fighters. This would seemingly work as 19 quickly flew up in the ranks of fighting kingdoms in Rise of Kingdoms community. They became known as a kingdom that won't back down from any fight, regardless of winning or losing. All of this makes 1960 different from any kingdom in Rock, because of the fact they focus on strength and of each individual player, rather than the numbers to overwhelm. And quite frankly, they could still overwhelm every kingdom with their numbers. 1960 became known very fast during their 1v3 KVK against 2110, 1256, 1947, which were all Imperium during Kingsland. This cemented themselves as a legendary kingdom as they were able to break all odds and beat them. 1960 fought extremely strategically, as many watched them swarm buildings and fight an unprecedented amount of players using their individual strength to collectively unite into one of the best kingdoms in KVK that the game has ever seen. 1960 uses this strength to be able to swarm rallies and any flag. Along with this, they have many players that could afford KVK tech, with some of the best equipment and commanders to dominate the field with sheer dominance and strength that could wipe out any field presence they face in KVK. They use this to swarm, to annihilate, and to kill any opponent. After their 1v3 KVK, they quickly went into a recovery KVK against 1534, and then immediately went into a 3v 5 Strife of the Eight against 1307, 1077, 1959, and 1008. And they won against sheer numbers, against huge alliances, and being outnumbered. They won. The kingdom has been unbreakable in KVKs, going undefeated in all 7 KVKs that they have been in, and they are still able to dominate in back-to-back seasons of Osiris League. Lastly, 1960 is one of the most serious kingdoms in the game. The culture has always been a bit militant, as it is hard to cater to each and every player, so they focus on players that they determine are worth listening to and care about. The kingdom is very serious, and some might think stressful, but players have fun as much as possible with close-knit relationships and fun experiences inside war. Their plan will always continue to keep their momentum and continue focusing on 2 extremely strong alliances slowly as they continue to dominate over each kingdom they face. 1960 looks like they cannot be stopped. They look undefeated, they look unbeatable, and they look like the best kingdom in Rise of Kingdoms history. The rise of 1960 brought a new age, brought in new ideas into the Rock community about how a kingdom could fight in KVK and could show their dominance against sheer numbers. It proves that the quality of players inside kingdoms is immensely more important than the quantity of players inside a kingdom. 1960 shows the complete opposite of some of the strongest kingdoms in the game, and they show how brutally strong they are and how they could win each KVK no matter what the odds are. They will continue to be the beacon of light to many kingdoms that cannot get the sheer amount of numbers like some of the Imperium kingdoms we see today. They will show that as long as you have the reliable fighters in your kingdom and they all show up, you could beat any kingdom. This is the rise of 1960.